Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a beat or a mix on Ableton Live 8.2.2. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. While we wait for it to load, I'm just going to let you know I have a lot of experience with this program. I've used it to make 10 to 20 mixes. You can use it to make beats, like just for drums, or just background noise if you're a rapper, but I'm not a rapper. So we're just going to wait for this to load. Alright, we're going to jump right in here. So this is going to look really confusing when you first start it up. I know I was confused when I first started, but we'll start over on this side. Over here, we have a lot of buttons. This one just hides the side panel. That's really all it does. Hides and shows it. And then the second button is a bunch of instruments. So it has the instruments, the MIDI effects, and the audio effects. And we're going to be using instruments in this tutorial. The third one is for plugin devices, and I only have one plugin device downloaded, and that's this bass line here. And when you play it, it'll play kind of a bassy kind of noise. You can hook up a MIDI keyboard to use this easier, which I have, but you can also use just the standard computer keyboard, which is also good. We have a lot of settings up here that you could change, but there's not enough time in this tutorial for me to tell you about that. So we'll leave that for another time. This next folder, this is what I use for a drum machine. See, you can open up a drum machine and it gives you all the instruments here, all the pieces of a drum. This next folder accesses your computer. So if you have sounds that you want to import on your own, that's how you can do it. Same thing here. And then this is just your recently used instruments. So let's get started here. We're just going to get rid of those. Alright. Now we're going to start with the drums, and what I found to be the easiest for drums is to start with impulse. So we drag that right in there. Impulse is under the second button actually. And so now you have impulse, and down here is your drum machine control panel. So you're going to go back to that folder I showed you that has all the drum machine pieces in it. So we'll just put a bunch of random things in it. And you can just hit it to listen to what the sound is going to be. Actually, there's not. Alright, here's where all the drums are. Alright, so we have a tom. Let's get a snare. Just put that in there. You can just click and drag. Percussion I never really use. Kick, I like to use the E-kicks, which stands for electronic kick. And just a cymbal. So now, with this setup, you can use the control panels to change the sounds of it. And I don't really do that because, well, I do it, but I'm not going to today because there's not enough time in this tutorial. Alright, so now you're going to double click here, and it'll open up one of these little charts down here. So let me show you how to use this. This next part is where you set up how the beat is going to be. So you can just kind of use your eyes to see how it's going to look. You just double click each square where you want the instrument to play. So we can just kind of throw a bunch of random ones in there. So that's the tom. So we're just going to see how it sounds by hitting play. So it's just a standard beat, but you're mainly going to want to use your kick as to hold the beat together. So we'll put 4 of those. Then we'll just throw in this. We'll see how that sounds. That doesn't sound too good, so we'll just move it a bit. There we go. Alright, so now we have drums. So we're gonna get rid of that. So next, well, let's add some of this bass line here, that piano I showed you before. But I'm just gonna X this out because I could just use the keyboard for that. So here you don't even need to use the keyboard really. Here there's a piano on the side, and it works kind of like the drums. You just put it, and whatever key it's on along this line, whatever key it's on, it's gonna play that note. So we'll just put a bunch of random ones just to show you how it would be. So you see, it can easily sound very good, and it's a very easy program to use. Now, I'm not done though, so we're gonna add in a piano, and for that we're gonna go back to this folder with all the instruments. We're gonna go to Instrument Rack. We're gonna go to Piano and Keys. Let's do acoustic pianos. And then you just pick one. You play around with it and just drag it on in, and then you do the same thing with the bass line that I just did. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate the bass line, and then I'm going to drag the acoustic in there. So it's going to play the same notes and the same tune, the same melody, but it's going to be playing on it. And just to give it a more distinctive sound, we're going to take all the notes on the piano, and you see how it starts on A1, the key. So we're just going to move it up. Oh, alright, I'm going to highlight all those. We're just going to move it up to A2. And it should give it a more distinctive sound. So now there's piano in there, and one last piece I want to do is I want to add strings. Strings will be in synth strings, and that's going to be like orchestra. So we'll use FM orchestra. That's one that I like to use. We'll get rid of that just to get it out of the way. And then here it's the same deal, but here you're going to want to use something more to put down a foundation for the song. So you're going to want it to be each note to be longer. So down here is length, so we're going to change that to 4. Just gonna 4, and then we're going to change these bars so that they're longer to 1 bar. So now there's 4 bars here, and it's going to last longer, you'll see. So we'll just kind of get an idea of what we're going to be playing. So just throw some down again. Just see how that So you see, now we have all these instruments in play, and we're going to put the whole song together. Now to do that, we're going to move these down, and you'll see why in a second, because over here is the master controls, and when you hit play on this, it plays everything along the line here. And you hit this, it plays everything along the line here. So if we want to put the song together, we're just going to set it up so that it works out. Just a second. Alright, now we can just hit record, and we can play the song here. So, just a little jam beat, whatever, just something whipped up real quick. And now, we're in this menu. You click up on this button where my cursor is, and it'll bring you to a whole new menu where your song is all set up. And you can even edit it from here, but that's a lot of explanation to do. So, you have the song, you want to export it, you want to make a CD, you go to Export Audio Video, and just hit OK, and it'll bring up the window to save it. And then you could save your song, and you could send it out to all your friends. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and this speech. And Ms. Koch, I'm hopefully going to see some of your beats and mixes in the future. Thank you.